This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. There's no reason to use a cheap disposable razor or pay a ridiculously high price for some gimmicky dumbness. Make the smarter choice and join Dollar Shave Club. It really is the best of both worlds. It's a premium shave at a disposable price, like a disposable razor. There you go. I've been looking good, damn good. Gia won't stop talking about how good my face is. Like, it's getting kind of weird. Everyone, please tweet at her and let her know that she should probably stop being weird. Anyways, if you haven't tried Dollar Shave Club yet, you're missing out. It's an amazing shave at an affordable price. There's no smarter time than now. And right now, they're giving away a 1-month trial of any of their razors for just $1. Really, Dollar Shave Club. Free shipping too. And that's up to just a few bucks a month. There's no long-term commitments, no hidden fees, and you can cancel whenever you want. Get your $1 trial at dollarshaveclub.com/Gamescast. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Gamescast. And Gia, stop being weird. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 128 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hi.
And joining us for not the first time. I lost count at this time.
3 or 4?
Yeah, it's been a couple.
Who knows?
Danny O'Dwyer, no clips. Danny O'Dwyer himself.
What up? Kind of Funny Games Dailies.
Kind of Funny Games
Dailies, yeah.
Danny O'Dwyer.
We all knew Noclip didn't have a future, and here it is. You know what I mean?
There will be a time where I'll have done more Kind of Funny Games dailies than documentaries.
That's weird.
Like,
That's weird.
And it's coming quick. Yeah. We don't get those docs out very quick.
But you just announced a new one.
We did.
What is
just
it?
announced. The next one's going to be about the Witcher franchise.
Ooh,
That is
That's a
awesome.
very cool one.
Very
Going
cool.
to Warsaw and
Yeah.
Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and we're also going to do one on Good Old Games, GOG, while we're out there.
Oh,
as
nice.
well.
Yeah, because they have a CD Projekt Red and them have some working relationship or something, right?
Yeah. I think they're based in like Malta or something, but it's what they set up. Marcin Nowinski and the guys, they were first a distribution company, so all about that DRM free gaming.
Yeah. That sounds
Tim
like a
hates
big
DRM.
undertaking.
Yeah.
The Witcher franchise.
Yeah, we're there for like a week. I think 8 days in total, so it's our longest shoot.
Have you already played them all?
I have played like 400 hours of Wild Hunt.
Okay.
The Witcher 2, I played like maybe 30 hours back
So, like,
in
are
the day.
you going back now and doing it?
Yeah. That happens with every project. So like I was secretly playing Final Fantasy 14 for like a month before we did that one, which was batshit crazy because I hadn't played an MMO since WoW and I'd never really played a Final Fantasy game. So that was like a bit much. Whereas this is a little bit more
In your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know a little bit about this one coming
Witcher
in.
1 is that's a
Weird game.
That is a rough game to go back and play. It was rough to play then.
Sure.
It's
Now it hasn't aged well.
No.
Yeah.
It's sandpaper all over myself. Yeah.
No.
But it's good
Ladies and
times.
gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week we get together to talk about video games and all the things that we love about them. You can get it early by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, which allows you to watch it live like a lot of people are doing right now. Or you can watch it whenever you want, VOD when it comes out on Friday. If you want it for free, you have to wait till Monday, like a pleb. And you don't
Damn,
want
you
to.
just called them out like that.
Hey,
So many people are just
Life
taking their
choices.
iPod, rolling on their window of their car, throwing it out, and then they go, "Why did I throw out the entire iPod? I could have just
could have
deleted
just
this.
not done that. You know
Why
what
did
mean?
I do that?"
It's
Then
so hard to
They
delete
noticed
things.
the car not even on. They've been sitting in their basement.
Yeah,
They're on weed.
they're on the weed.
On the weed.
On the weed.
Wow. Get off
If you,
that
don't wanna,
weed.
if you don't want to watch, you can listen by going to any of your favorite podcast supporters, suppliers, whatever it is, and support us there by rating, reviewing, and all that stuff. And also go to all our other shows and rate and review those too, because it helps us a lot. Getting in them algorithms and all that stuff.
Then the mom comes down and she's like, "Are you on the weed? Why'd you throw the iPad against the wall?"
So guys, what you been playing? Greg?
You go first.
Well, I'm struggling, Tim. Struggling big time.
Oh no, is this some trophy bullshit?
No.
Okay.
It's life bullshit. Last week, we started getting serious on Kind of Funny Games Daily.
Okay.
Talking about the fact of, I got to get serious about Persona. The window of time is closing where August has a lot of great games in it. And so as July starts to dwindle, I got to get serious. I got to stop playing Friday the 13th. I got to stop playing everything else. I got to play Persona and put in the hours that need to be beaten in. So Friday night I came home, exhausted, long week of work, sat down, put on Persona, started playing Persona, and I'm like, this is it. I'm not playing anything but Persona anymore. And that made me very angry. I haven't had to play a video game with like rules and embargoes and deadline, or not embargoes, but like deadlines and so long that it made me really not like playing Persona. And so for the good of Persona, I had to stop. I was like, I can't do this. I love Persona. I know that I love Persona, but I can't force it. It's got to come on naturally.
There are bets out there, Greg, that you will never finish Persona.
I know.
5.
Shannon Doherty herself, Double D, Chicks, whatever. I don't know. He's got too many goddamn names. Cheeks Jr. over there.
Mike
He's
Double D Doherty.
Talking a lot of shit on his Gamescast about it not happening, and then still continuing to taunt me.
Yeah.
Then on top of him taunting me, Zyger's taunting me. Now you might say, Zyger, that's a name I haven't heard in forever. Right, because I knocked this motherfucker out at Mario Kart so bad that his mom still makes fun of him. But here he is, another fucking worm coming out of my shit, trying to come up and get up my leg and get up my urethra. Not on my watch, all right?
Shit. Like, there's some times where I'm like, what goes on in his head?
right?
Like, how does this happen?
He's like wanting to get it out.
Anyways, I'm gonna finish Persona. Guaranteed.
When? The
I don't know.
window's
I don't know.
closing.
I don't know. It's gonna be
Like, it's never fucking never.
What I think I might have to start doing is breaking it up and just like
Right.
I'll do a dungeon. Like if I sit down to commit, I gotta commit to a dungeon. Also, here's what I think
It's
is
like
gonna
one
happen.
rep at a time.
Here's what I'm running a 5K incredibly slow. So I feel like the way I am with games where I need to be in the mood to play them, right? Exists and is a true thing. It happened. Song of the Deep is one of my examples, right? Where I played a whole bunch of that and then stopped playing and then was in the mood for like 6 months. And then I came back and beat it. I was like, oh man, this actually worked. Ratchet and Clank, I never got back in the mood for. So that's a bad example. However, Persona, you know I love Persona. That's not bullshit. I think it's going to happen. It's just, I got to wait. And I think what's going to happen is the mood's going to strike and I'm going to go in and then I'm going to go really fucking all in. And then this thing. But Friday it was forcing me. I was like, I can't do it. And what I did is I stopped and I jumped into Marvel Heroes. And I put like another 20 hours into that playing Spider-Gwen. I finally got my Spider-Gwen costume.
Okay.
Remember, this is a big part of, I got buying the Spider-Man loot crate boxes or whatever in the game.
You want to get that costume.
Only took me, I yelled at Anthony that first day. I did 20, right?
Yeah.
So then in a grand total, I only opened 84 boxes. 84 boxes to get the Spider-Gwen costume.
That's upsetting.
I got it, though.
Do you have to pay for these boxes?
You play with in-game currency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play with in-game currency?
No,
Can you not?
What?
Can you like also chip in real money for them?
Oh, you can buy the in-game
Yeah?
currency
Okay.
with money. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. So that, I got her, and then now she's level 52, I think, where we left off. I'm having a great time, having a ball, just running through, blowing everything up Diablo style. It's great. Marvel Heroes is a great game.
What have you been playing,
That's
Dan?
upsetting. Can I actually ask you a quick question just about that whole, because this kind of came up a little bit on Games Daily as well, where we were talking about like pushing through on games.
Yeah.
Like review scores, right? There is that thing with reviewers where they need to have the game finished in a day.
Sure.
And I've been in that situation, and you've been in that situation where you're like complete a game for like, even for anything, you just like, you're talking about it, whatever. You power your way through it, right? Like I often wonder, what are the games that if they were played at a more reasonable pace would actually review score higher?
Sure.
And it's just not like the reviewer doesn't like the game, but they got to complete the game, so they got to do it.
A big thing people bring up, I think, when they talk about this stuff is repetition. Reviews are always harping on a game for being, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And while true, does it feel that way when you spread it out over a month of playing, depending on how big or what the game is? That's always the argument, right? When you have to shove it into a weekend,
Right.
you see everything mashed up right on top of each other. You can remember so many clearly these same annoyances or things or problems or same animations of throwing a switch. Whereas when you're just playing a game and getting lost and exploring an open world in between missions, maybe you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder. I wonder.
It's a good question. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? God, last week I said I was going to play Mass Effect Andromeda, and I eventually found how to get the free demo.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I went to download it on Origin, and then I went to play just one game of Rocket League while I was downloading.
there you go. No.
My ping was real bad. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just pause that.
Yeah, I gotta pause that. Do that. Yeah.
And then I backed out and I was like, I'll restart it again. And then I went to play some PUBG, and then I felt a little bit of stuttering happening in Battlegrounds, and I was like, I'll just pause that.
Yeah.
Never.
That's what I was. I
back to
started
it.
downloading the Destiny beta, Destiny 2
of
beta,
course,
right?
yeah.
I started downloading that, and then I was like, well, while I wait, I'll play some Marvel Heroes Omega. And I was like, wow, it seems like it's slowing it down a bit. I was pause Destiny, go back to Marvel.
And the Doom thing we're talking about today on the show, that game is like 55 gigs. So if you get to download the free demo of that, it's going to be a lot of downloading. So my real answer is I played a lot of, I can now finally say I've been playing a lot of The Witcher 3 recently. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds though predominantly. Yeah. I fucking love that game.
You're just hooked?
I'm so hooked to it. Like I'm hooked to it like not many. There's like first person shooters come around like once every 4 years probably where I'm like super into them. Yeah. Like online FPS. So I was huge into Counter-Strike back in the day, and I was in a Battlefield Vietnam clan. I used to love that, and I used to play CS:GO a lot. And then Overwatch had its time last year, I played probably too much of it in the like pre-release phase, and then I haven't actually touched it since E3 last year, which is crazy. But I had put like 100 hours in probably. And this is now my new one. This is like my new obsession.
Your new shooter obsession.
Yeah, it's so, which is crazy because you spend you can play a 40-minute game of that and literally not fire your weapon.
That's crazy. Have you played it yet?
No, still haven't.
We're playing next week. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
It's so much fun. I only ever play, so you can play like solo, which is just yourself and then 100 other people. Duo, which is like teams of 2, and then 49 other teams, or you can do it in teams of 4. And I did my first team of 4 game yesterday, actually with a bunch of kind of funny folks on the Discord we're using as well. Who invited me via kind of funny and noclip actually, because they contacted me on Discord as well.
What a surprise! There's crossover.
I know, right? How about that? And it was so much fun, and it's like a totally different game because the when you're one person against all these other folks, it's kind of like you're getting in one-on-one engagements, but you can kind of run away, but you're fighting a lot more often. Whereas in the 4-person thing, it almost feels like each team is just like stocking up as much as possible for one final bloodbath. Nice. Because it gets squished in, but you can, because everyone's like consolidated into 4-person teams, they're sort of like, there's smaller groups, so they're not like hitting each other as often. So yeah, it ends up being like totally different. Whereas I was like, we're doing really well. We're in like the top like last 14, and they're like, yeah, but we've got like no armor and like no weapons. So we ended up getting totally
just wiped out. Yeah, the Negan crew came through.
Right. So I've been playing a bunch of that.
That sounds awesome.
It's
you talk about Witcher. Are you replaying it? Had you played a bunch already?
Yeah.
Like okay.
I completed Wild Hunt. I had almost done all of Blood and Wine. Nah, about halfway through Blood and Wine, and then. Actually, Heart of Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone I've done about half of.
Gotcha.
The problem, man, the expansion packs they brought out for those games are so long.
Yeah.
One of the worries they had with the game when they first brought it out, Witcher 3, was that there wasn't enough stuff in it because the map was so big. And then one of the things the reviews all came out with saying was like,
too much stuff.
Too much. It was like a 200-hour game.
Yeah.
Like
I never got out of Act 1 and I played 30 hours or whatever, 26 hours.
Like when you start the game, you're in an area called White Orchard. It's basically the tutorial level. People thought that was the world. And then you finish that thing and then they're like, oh no, here you go. It's like 30 times bigger than like Skyrim or something. I don't know, that's ridiculous, but it's like it's like
the universe. It's still expanding to this
day. Yeah. It's faster than you can travel on Roach. So yeah, I've played it already, but I'm playing a bunch more because you need to refresh your mind on it, but also with these types of the way I've realized noclip is working is that like we can do like these surface level like docs like Rocket League was kind of mostly about like the story of how it came to be. Whereas what happens now is that we have, whenever we're doing one now fans of that game jump on us and go like, oh, could you ask about this? Could you find out about this? And the scope gets bigger and then your storytelling gets way more granular. So with like The Witcher, like, geez.
Those fans are dialed in. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So we could do probably a whole 30-minute video on potions. So I'm getting in there trying to figure out what exactly we talk about.
Doing about why Triss is better than Jen.
Get those views. That'll do it. Yeah. that and sex cards. Remember those?
Oh yeah, I remember the sex cards. Yeah,
there's a lot of dodgy
Why'd
shit.
you go away from the sex cards? Oh right. Oh, it was a different life in 2015. Right.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah. You should. There's some interesting stuff in that first game. I've been going back and checking out as well. So it's like relearning everything.
That's cool.
So it's fun. It's like a good excuse to go back and play an old game as well, which you don't often get in this line of work.
Does that fuck it up for you though? Is like then trying to be current because you have to go back and play older stuff for the docs and like especially for the Witcher games are so big.
Yeah, kinda. And there's another project I'm working on which is similarly large, which is like a side project which we'll announce probably in the next couple of weeks. But that also is taking that on. Which one? Patapon.
DC Universe Online.
You wish.
I'm just giving you my wish list now.
Right. So yeah, it does a bit like it hasn't stopped me playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but then maybe in my head I'm like, I'll get to that one. Because I'd love to do one on PUBG. That'd be Irish developer as well. PlayerUnknown is Irish.
There you go. You got your ins.
Right?
Yeah.
We already did John Romero. He's technically now Irish, I guess, because he lives there. So yeah, we'll see about that.
That's all you need.
What have you been playing, Tim?
Well, we played, what's it called?
Echo
Arena.
Right,
on the
right.
Oculus
How did that go?
yesterday. Ready at Dawn's VR game. You came back from Judges Week at E3, and you were telling me about all the games that I needed to prepare for.
Sure.
And this was the one that I was like, that sounds weird. I don't know if I'm in on it.
So it's Lone Echo's multiplayer mode is called Echo Arena. Yeah, and it's basically Ender's Game, right? That's what everybody always describes it as. So it's ultimate frisbee in 360 degrees, 0G. And so you're throwing it around. You have Iron Man like boosters on your wrist to shoot yourself through, but then there's the locomotion of 0G. So you're going and you get the wall and you press yourself off and shoot yourself over there. And then you're grabbing this disc and your team's of 2 and I'm sorry, 2 teams up to 5 players on each one, I believe I got right there. And then you're throwing it into the goal trying to score and stuff.
Yeah. It's like ultimate frisbee with the goal.
Right.
So can you push with one fist as well, or is it?
No, yeah, you can totally push.
So
with
could
one
you
hand.
like push with one fist and like grab it?
Yep.
With the,
And
And you can
punch,
grab
you can-
onto the wall as well, like
Right.
Spider-Man style, and then grab the thing. And
And how
kinda
does
pull
that
it in.
feel? Because you don't have the tactile.
So
feeling,
it's
right?
with the touch controller. So when you explained it to me, I was like, I can't see that actually working.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds like I don't understand how that locomotion would work. It absolutely works.
Right.
It was hands down the most immersive VR game I have ever played, and it was such a step above things that we've seen like on PSVR, where I was just like, holy crap, like this is the future of games on VR. I just wonder how much steam there is there, because it requires a lot of setup. Like the setup we had was amazing, but that's because we're in a room with 8 VR setups where all of us were playing together. We could all hear each other and all that. And I guess you play online, so that'd be fun too. But it was crazy how you put it on. And I know when people talk about VR, it just always sounds like the same thing. But it's like you put it on, it's just like you're in a different world. And when you're flying around, it worked. And like playing through was super fun. And immediately we all it clicked for us. And we started getting really competitive and talking a lot of shit. And it was like, man, this is a fresh experience, you know. I definitely recommend people try it out. It did give me a lot of motion sickness, but that's because we played for a very long time.
How were you doing? Because I saw the video. It seemed like, was everyone standing?
Yeah.
You don't need room scale for, I mean, PlayStation VR anyway. But if you're getting pushed around, could you feasibly play it standing down? Oh, it was.
Yeah, Kevin was saying that. Yeah, I think you could use a chair sitting down, and that you could do it that way.
Yeah.
But it is so like, you know, it was that getting lost in that moment of being around it and having a guy run up and like, okay, you're twisted up. Hold on, we're undoing it. And then there was another time where like I was up in the air and I think Andy was flying underneath me, and so I crouched down and I tried to punch and I punched the ground. And I was like, God, I'm such an idiot.
amazing?
You know what I mean? But like you're in that moment of like, he's right there. I almost got him.
And that's the problem with this game is, unlike most VR stuff, it's like limited motion. You're not doing crazy things unless you're doing it. This game tells you to punch.
Yeah.
You know, so you're punching things. So in real life, you're punching. And I punched some dude, one of the guys that was walking by. I'm like, why would you walk by me when I'm in fucking VR, man? Punching around. But it scared the hell out of me. But playing it, man, it's crazy because like, so yeah, you're in these like Iron Man suits, and as people are flying around, you could grab them and like crawl up
Terminator
them,
crawl up
or
them,
like pull their leg back and stuff. And some of that's where the motion sickness came from, where it's like you're moving forward and all of a sudden you stop, or like when you're going super fast towards a wall and you hit it and you expect to feel some type of something and you don't. But man, it was so impressive because it wasn't just like, oh, the one room. It's like there was different rooms you can go in the tutorial for like to teach you combat, to teach you how to grab things and throw things. And I was like, man, it's deep. There's something here, you know, and we all had a lot of fun.
Was it like 5-on-5 then, or what was the?
We did 4v4, but
okay.
you can't go up to 5v5.
Yeah.
Could you do 1v1?
I don't know where the cutoff is. Originally, what the idea we were going to do going in was we were going to do a tournament, so it'd be teams of 2.
Right.
And then the guys, they were like, you know, you can do that, but we'd like to give you a dev to then have a captain, because they're big arenas. They're not scaling for that.
Right.
So it's like arena built for 10 people to be floating around it, and then suddenly there's 4. Like,
it's like 2v2 basketball on a full court.
Exactly. Yeah. We were worried about that. So eventually, once we all got in, and like they did the tutorial round, I'd already played obviously at Judges Week, and so when they came out of that, they were like, we should just all play together because that'll be pandemonium.
And so that's gonna be a party mode going up soon.
I'm sure it'll be nonsense. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when. Is there an embargo on that we're trying to hit?
Yeah, it's not the next Tuesday. It's the Tuesday after that. So August, the first, I think Tuesday in August.
In 2 weeks, it's gonna be party mode.
Oh yeah,
and
August
I can't
1st
wait for
the release date of Patapon.
Oh yeah,
that's on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames on Tuesday.
Oh,
the first.
Nice.
Spoilers. Don't spoil anything.
Spoilers.
Don't spoil anything.
We have a trophy. I'm just not saying who it's for.
Don't present it. on this. Don't talk to anybody.
No, but Danny, you should definitely try it out sometime because it was really crazy. Like when you start off, you're in this like waiting room and then there's a countdown and you need to pull and like get out of the little
pods
like a pod, and then there's different pulls. And since you're in 0G, you can't just walk, so you need to grab and pull yourself out of the thing, and it moves you forward, and it does a really good job of tricking your body into feeling like you're weightless. And as you get out, then it's like there's just different buttons for thrust and stuff. A big problem I had was the controls kept tricking me out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's options to change them. Like there's certain things like the right stick, if you would flick it left or right, it would move the camera in like
a certain degree.
Yeah, in like degrees. I wish it was fluid. Like
I'm sure you can fix that. Yeah.
I would rather just be like, just move where I wanted it to.
For me, it was the longer I played, the more I seemed to lose which button was punch and which was grab.
Right.
And that was that weird thing, and I don't know why, but there'd be like, for some reason, my right hand always got it, my left never did.
Oh, really?
Screwing it up.
I had the same issue the entire
top
time.
button isn't that I haven't used a move in so long.
So what it's not a move. It's Oculus. It's Oculus.
Oh.
So it's those touch controllers.
Okay. But is it coming out on everything as well?
No,
it's not.
Oculus
No,
exclusive.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Sorry. God, for some reason I had this as a PlayStation VR thing.
Oh no, yeah. The middle finger button was the grab, so like to grab stuff, and then you had to hit the R1, the index finger button to
which would
do
charge up
punches or
your
whatever.
fist as a punch, and if you bring it up in front of your face, it would be a guard. And man, it was so satisfying, like flying into Andy and just like punching him in the face.
I fucking loved punching Andy.
It's just great. It's just awesome. But yeah, I had the same problem with you where I would try to grab things and it wouldn't work. And I just feel like button remapping would solve all that for me. Where I
feel like more time with that would fix it too.
Which is the other issue that I had movement wise, where it's like I felt so good on my own. I know exactly what I need to do, and then there'd be a moment where I felt like I forgot how to ride a bike, and it's like where I wanted to control it like Iron Man, and it's not like Iron Man. It's not like, because I would think go like this to stop and go backwards, or go like this to go forwards, and it's not that.
Yeah, it's shooting out. Like imagine you're wearing wristwatches and the blasts are coming back up your arm.
Exactly.
So it's like where you're Supermaning it like that.
Yeah.
But but I'm right there with you. There'd be times where it's like just out of my reach, and it would be like, what? How do I what's the incremental step to get there, right? To get it while somebody else is coming and stuff.
Yeah, but man, it's having done a lot of VR, the more experiences where you're like in a cockpit and things are happening around you, or you're in a chair, or you're sitting down or whatever, actually feeling like you're moving and like seeing the frisbee that come out and have that little thing where you do push a little farther than you should.
Yeah.
It was exhilarating, man. Like it was so much fun.
If you guys like this, like so many of the things that you're seem to be enjoying about this is why Super Hot VR is so good.
Yeah.
Because it's so about like having the break in the control and then the world where it's totally one-to-one, where you're grabbing guns and then like firing behind you or like stabbing behind you while you're shooting forward with a gun, like having that total control. It's the same kind of thing you're talking about. So
super awesome.
Yeah. Not long
Andy.
now.
Yeah. Big old
what you been playing?
Cortez. Take a seat here, Chief. Come on.
Want to sit in my lap?
Take a seat, I guess.
That's how I do it.
Okay, all right. Getting loose here, I guess. Yeah, I just want to say real quick that Echo Arena is the best VR experience I've ever had in my life.
What was up until that? Except for porn.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it was Super Hot VR, on
cool.
Oculus, We played it at work when I was still at Rooster Teeth.
Excellent.
But for some reason, I did not get sick in this game. I get motion sick very easily. And when we played Drive Club on PSVR, that was a nightmare. And for some reason, when I saw the trailers for this game, I was like, I'm fucked. Like, this is going to suck. And I got in there and everything felt great. And it could be because the frame rate's so much better and maybe the device is just higher quality than the PSVR, but it was great.
I was fucked, though.
Really?
Yeah. Like the problem was we did the tutorial, which felt like it was like 20 minutes in there. I don't know how long it actually was.
It was like 5 minutes. Or no, it was like 10.
It was
You were only in there for 8 seconds.
No, man, but it felt really long. And then we finished it, and then we were going to do the match together. And then the match was like, or the matches we did were probably a total of like 10, 15. And I think that had I only done one of those, I would have been fine. Like after the tutorial, I felt a little uneasy, but I was like, I'm just need to wait and as long as possible and drink some water before I put it back on. After the second round, you saw me after when I was waiting for my Uber.
Tim said goodbye to everybody, and then I was like, all right, cool. And then I went out like 5 minutes later, and he was just sitting like on the ground, like outside.
like literally just sitting against, like I looked like a homeless person because I had a cup of water, like just a white cup. So I was just sitting there. I was like, oh man, this is a scene.
Did you actually feel like you're going to throw up?
Like a fucking VR junkie or something.
Exactly. And I'm not. immune to it.
Yeah.
Like Kevin seems to be totally immune to VR motion sickness.
I've
like
never
for me,
gotten it, yeah.
I'm like pretty good about it, but then
Right.
there's are moments or times where I'm like, ooh, I need to get out of this, and I get really hot and sweaty. But I feel like everyone does.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
we were
yesterday,
moving a lot. We were moving a lot.
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
When I got home though, like I had to lay down and I had to take a nap. Like I was like, and I didn't want to eat, and I felt
Right.
really bad. But again, worth it though. The game was fun as shit,
Holy
man.
shit.
This does sound like a junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so
I
great.
couldn't eat. I couldn't feel my legs, but it's so fucking worth it.
I'll do it all over
Yeah.
again. So yesterday I played the Destiny 2 beta.
Oh, cool.
We had it here on stream yesterday, last night, and it's what you should expect. It is more Destiny, and I think a lot of people are sort of talking shit about it in that way, like, oh, it's just like Destiny 1. Everybody told you. It's like, well, they're doing everything right that they got in Destiny 1 for this beta, and like, so I think the stuff that might be new is stuff that we haven't seen yet in this beta. Like, you're not able to run around in an NPC like settlement or environment yet. You're just in menus right now. So you have the ability to the game starts you off with the same Destiny demo that they showed off at their event. Right. And it's the same one that we got to play at E3. A little bit extended as well. And then it cuts to the cutscene and suddenly you are yourself and you have your 3 options to do like your standard multiplayer match, which is, I believe, territory controlled. You have the strike, or you have your competitive. Everything sort of felt ultra competitive because everybody who has this beta are like hardcore Destiny fans who are really good. So even in the casual setting, like I got my ass whooped multiple times with a bunch of kind of funny best friends. We got to play yesterday. But also, I'm just not super good, so that's definitely counts. And then, so the strike is really cool. It really brought back all that platforming that I love about Destiny 1, like flying through and landing on these things and using your jetpacks. Like that shit is really, really fun, and I love those aspects of Destiny 1. But for somebody who only played vanilla Destiny, I didn't play any of the DLC. I didn't do House of Wolves. Didn't do the fucking Knights of Ren, or what are they called? The something King's Fall or whatever.
Kings of Leon.
Yeah, Kings of Leon.
Which is where
DLC.
folks ended up saying some of the best games like some of the best of that game was in that.
Yeah, totally improved the game.
Yeah.
So for somebody who only played vanilla, and I played the fuck out of vanilla, I did not see any noticeable differences. The cool stuff that there are the ability upgrades. So like the Warlock, if you hold the circle button, you can either choose to do like a damage buff circle or a healing buff circle, which is really, really cool. And that's something that was not in vanilla.
Is there any new classes in the beta?
No, there's still just Warlock, Titan, and Hunter. But you do have the option right off the bat to do, like as a Warlock, you could do Sunsinger or Voidwalker or whatever.
Ah, okay, they've got subclasses in there.
Yeah. I think you were outfitted with all of the weapons for the most part, kind of like the E3 beta. Like you have kind of your hand cannon and all this stuff. But if you do beat the boss in the strike, you are given like rarer items. I don't know if that stuff carries over though.
Right.
But yeah, I just think, a lot of people criticizing it. I mean, Destiny 1 was already a really fun game in my opinion, and what they needed to improve upon, I think, is stuff that we're not necessarily going to see in this beta. This beta is just to like test, fucking servers or whatever.
Like the story stuff and the hub world and the new area they have.
Can't see any of that yet.
Right.
Yeah, you're only in menus for now, which is totally fine with me. But I did get that itch of like running through the strike with some best friends last night. Like I want more. I already want more. I want to run through the open worlds and explore, and as always, the headshots are so fucking satisfying. Yeah, Destiny 2 is gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andy.
There you go. Sounds
Greg,
like
you want to sit down?
Sure, bud.
Sit down in Big Daddy's lab. All right, thanks, guys.
There you go.
sounds like good, solid for people who enjoy Destiny.
Yeah.
Maybe not for people who didn't like.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
not
well-
a fan of. I didn't enjoy Destiny much, and it sounds like it's
Really?
it's
Still
made
not
for
for you.
people who like Destiny. Not they're not trying anything else. So fine. Like
I'm looking forward to, because I took time off from Destiny. I played vanilla and then came back, for the big patch, the Taken King or whatever, and then was like, all right, I didn't get super into the Taken King because the problem was with Destiny 1 is I felt like when I left, so many people stayed, and so when I came back, it was like They're talking another language, and clearly I'm the little kid brother tagging along, and I'm like,
Right.
I don't want. And they're like, no, we'll pull you through raids. I'm like, I don't want you to pull me through anything. I want to contribute and be there, and I want to experience it with you. I don't want it to be like you guys know every fucking twist and curve.
So then 2 is like a reset.
Exactly. 2 is like, and Andy's into 2. I'm like, on launch day, we're going to have the 2 PS4s and 2 screens here. I think we're trying to get Andrew to stay over 2. Like, just, hey, let's fucking go and stream and play here and have 3 screens, all this different shit going on.
It's the making of that game. It's making of loads of games, It's St. Andre and Paragon and stuff, like games where you have a bunch of people to play with. It's like you have such a much more stronger connection to it.
Absolutely. Danny, I want to talk to you about something real quick. I've been editing Kind of Funny Life 3 over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, fair play.
And,
Jeez, that's an undertaking.
It's definitely an undertaking. And so you editing all the documentaries, like those are huge undertakings as well. I've seen your premiere timelines and I'm just like, holy shit, like what you're doing is very impressive. What I'm doing is fucking insane because of how many cameras there are.
That's why I think yours is harder than
it's different. It's different.
Different muscle, but yeah.
But do you use multicam editing a lot?
No. I used to in years past when I did more event stuff, but not really. Also, I wanted to ask, your stuff is in 4K some of it as well.
Most of it is, not all of it.
So are you replacing the stuff before the render?
Nope.
Oh my God! Is your computer okay?
So that's the thing.
Right.
It's a crazy situation where it's like I'm trying to do it because I don't want to lose the quality, and I had proxy files for a while, whatever. This is getting really in the weeds of this. The point of it though is
I don't understand.
There's like I'm doing multicam edit, and there's 16 cameras, and a bunch of them are 4K. It is very taxing on my computer. Yeah, and it's working. And as I go through, I'm like, all right, cool, this is happening, but it's very slow. And there's moments where I'm like, this is going to crash at any given moment. And anytime I have some time to procrastinate with things or rendering or whatever, I'll just go on Amazon and I'll just fucking do it. I'll just type in Intel, type in that i9, and I start looking at it, and I'm just like, I need this. So I want to. You're a PC guy, right? What's your PC look like right now?
Oh God, it's written on my Twitch page, all the stuff. It's an i7, twitch.tv/Daniel Dwyer. Nice plug, thank you. It's an i7. I'm trying to think, is the 9800K? Is that what it's called? I've got about, I think, 32 gigs of DDR4 in there now. The hard drive situation in my computer is a fucking disaster right now.
Really?
It's like, I think between external drives and all the stuff I have internally, I think it's somewhere like 15 terabytes I think in there at the moment.
That's what we're working with too.
Sorry, 6700K, quad core, i7. The graphics card is not. Oh yeah, it is. I got a 780 in there.
Oh, okay.
That's only helps for rendering mostly.
Well, 780 though, even that's kind of old.
Wait, no, not 780. No, I've got a 1070 in there.
1070.
Sorry,
okay.
yeah, that's old. I need to update that.
Because my problem is my computer was state of the art and fucking awesome when me and Kevin made it, but that was like 5 years ago now. Right. So that had.
God, that's impressive that you're.
It can still do.
The rendering time on yours is going to be some fun.
Exactly. But I'll leave it overnight. But yeah, so 16 gigs of RAM, which back then was cool. Now it's like nothing.
Yeah.
And the whatever I have, it's an i7 and it's way less than yours. And my graphics card, which was like the second to best at the time, was like a 680.
Okay. Yeah.
So now I'm like, I need this 1080, but man, I want to upgrade so.
You should, and
I'm just looking for an excuse.
And there's the new stuff coming out at the end of the year. Yeah, that's the other good point.
But my thing is the i9 is the big question. Right? Is it tempting you at all?
Not yet, because I haven't been struggling yet. I don't use 4K files. We kind of shot with 4K for a bit on one of the cameras, and then realized it's just more hassle than it's worth. I mean, you can use proxy files to basically for anyone who's there, you can basically, when you shoot in 4K, you also shoot in 1080. Cards tend to burn to both, so you use the 1080 footage, and then the last minute you basically swap the file name for the 4K one, and then you render. So you're not you're not working with these files, which are
he's doing.
So
he's
much
doing the wrong thing.
Well, no, but the problem is I didn't have the proxy files to begin with because it didn't record that way.
You're saying
and converting them all and putting it all in, that's just time I don't have.
Some
right
cameras
now.
can't do it as well.
Exactly. There's a whole bunch of issues with it. Anyway, if you're at home and you're a very knowledgeable computer person, I would appreciate if you would reach out to me and give me some ideas about what I should be looking into, because I think it's about time that I upgrade my computer.
On that note, we ran into a problem with the Final Fantasy stuff and ended up getting pushed back a week. So I ended up exporting the videos while at E3. So all I had was my MacBook Pro, which I thought was going to
Your new
die.
MacBook Pro.
So it's the new one that came out last year. Really nice, 15-inch, no upgrades on it, just stock. It was bloody expensive enough as it was then. But I thought it was going to struggle because I tried to edit 4K GoPro footage on it and I was having none of it. But I had a Lacy hooked up to it, and like I said, the export times were ridiculous. It was like 3 hours or something. But working on the timeline was actually totally fine. It was a 50-minute video with like maybe 8 layers deep sometimes. Wow. So yeah, making videos used to be a lot harder than this.
Oh yeah.
So even when it's hard,
you just need to
gotta
remember. Yeah. Good lord.
No tapes and no like
DVI tapes or whatever people run around with.
Yeah, right. I mean, even after that, even once things went digital, like back when HD first happened, like the idea of editing 1080 was a myth.
And I feel like the stuff used to crash a lot more. And now when Premiere crashes, it's really annoying.
But it saves things, and there's like systems in place, and you can go back. God bless CC, man. Totally. For all the issues it has.
Yeah. And it's like
it does things very
relatively affordable as well.
Yeah,
Creative Cloud is like back in the day when it was like either pirate this software or spend like $3,000. It's like, oh well, you've just made this decision easy for me, I guess.
If you're looking into video editing or anything creative at all, whether it's like photos or anything like that, highly recommend getting Creative Cloud. You get to kind of dabble in all of it. And
Photoshop, Lightroom. I think Fireworks is still in there.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that I'm like, don't need this.
InDesign.
Yeah, oh, good lord, InDesign.
All right, don't knock InDesign. I was trained on that in college.
Really?
Yeah.
You weren't a Quark person?
No. We were at Mizzou Journalism School.
Nice.
Moving on.
Had a 128 megabyte thumb drive, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing. I was like, "Whoa, we got to put our final projects on this and turn it in."
This is like 64 PlayStation 1 memory cards.
I remember like because when I was in high school and I did the newspaper and like I'd do it off and send it off for printing, I would send them like 14 floppy disks. You know what I mean? All bundled up 3x5 floppies. I'd send those in to get printed into the fucking news to make a newspaper.
That is insane.
That's nuts.
My first computer that I was proud of, I had 1 gig of RAM, and that was a big deal. And now I'm looking at mine 16, which is like embarrassing to me now. And I'm looking into it, and I'm like, I'm trying to get
in this or something. Or?
I know, right? But man, I'm trying to get 64 gigs of RAM in my new build.
That's ridiculous.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. Next segment is This Week in Gaming History. 5 years ago, on July 18th, 2012, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD came out on the Xbox 360.
Yikes.
And Charles Jacobson wanted to let me know that it was delisted 2 days ago.
It was.
On July 17th,
They were selling it super cheap.
Yeah. So, Danny, you're a big Tony Hawk guy.
I sure am.
I'm a big Tony Hawk
sure
guy.
Are.
What were your thoughts on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD?
It was like fine. It was what it needed to be. A relatively better looking throwback for all the folks who enjoyed the heyday of Tony Hawk. Like, nobody has yet... I don't know if you can replicate the success of that series. It was such like a time and place thing.
Sure.
And it had as much to do with like the quality arcade gameplay as it did like that moment in culture. Like, I think the only thing you can really do with a Tony Hawk game is have that retrospective throwback element to it. I'm not sure if you can make a new one that actually works. Even though they made new ones which were bad because of gameplay reasons, not because of anything to do with that, I still don't think it has that same like sort of oomph.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sucks that it got taken down. I bet it was something to do with the music licensing probably.
Probably.
What this always ends up being. But it was fine. It was like a nice bit of nostalgia. But like I've since gone back and sourced like PlayStation 1, 2, or PlayStation 2 and 3 discs of all the old games, and I play those on my PS2 when I want to now.
Yeah.
It's just the way to play.
And those are great. I loved Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD when it came out, despite its flaws, because the gameplay was broken. Like it did not feel the way that it was supposed to. The physics were off, and it was just like, this isn't. I want this to be so much better than it is. Like Robomoto did an okay job, you know, but like they just didn't nail the things that they had to in terms of gameplay, but they did nail it in terms of presentation and soundtrack and what made those games special to me growing up. And I thought that its new soundtrack felt like a 2012 version of what the 1999 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 soundtrack would sound like. And so for those reasons, I loved it. I thought it leaned a little too much into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 levels.
Are you a 3?
Well, I like all of them, but there was only like one level from one. I think it was just warehouse.
I think like not many people have played one.
Yeah,
is the way I think. I think most people came in onto, or that's when it's like the Uncharted thing, right? Like people have played Uncharted 1, 2 is where I kicked off, but 3 and 4 are the ones that sold like loads, right?
Two is the one that is everyone's favorite when you look back on it.
Yeah, it's still my favorite. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's that was a game. I'm sad that it's delisted. I have it on my PS3, and I
Yeah.
hope that nothing ever happens to that. Even though I'm sure that it will.
I think I picked it up on Steam a couple of weeks back because I heard that it was getting taken down.
Yeah,
Sad, man.
it is. It's sad.
But you know what? I just wanted to bring Skate back. Like you asked
Skate
me,
forward.
either one.
EA's
Let's
waiting,
go.
man.
Right?
EA's waiting. It's their new Mirror's Edge. Like, all right, you motherfuckers, you wanted it. Here it is.
Skate-
Buy it or fuck off.
Skate is better than Mirror's Edge, and
Oh, yeah.
I think Mirror's Edge is cool. But it's like Mirror's Edge was interesting because it was a game in first person where you didn't shoot.
Yeah.
And guess what? We've had loads of those now, better
Yeah.
ones.
Skate was doing a lot of shit. I mean, that first one that was ahead of its time in terms of like sharing clips and putting them up.
Totally.
And, like all these different. Like I remember you'd go into Skate and go into their little server to go look at. All right, well, yeah, this and the guy tumbling through the air and then he lands perfectly on the bench and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Some of the best compilation videos still on YouTube for those games.
I
But they were
hated
brilliant,
Skate.
man. You
One.
didn't know.
Fuck
Skate
you.
one.
First one?
Skate one.
Why?
I hated it because it wasn't Tony Hawk. Like that was it. I
Okay.
liked the arcade. I liked the classic mode Tony
Yeah.
Hawk, and there was something about Skate. I'm like, oh man, like this.
Like, I can't
the,
revert.
the forums of one. You
Right.
know, all the people are like, we want realistic, whatever. I was like, oh man. But
You
then
just want a manual in between
eventually, when
everything.
I grew up and got over the bullshit,
Yeah.
and then when I think it was Skate. It must have been 2 when it came out. I was like, you know what? I'll give it another shot. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking.
Tony
good.
Hawk was fun because you could just like once you'd done everything in each level, it was fun you're just jamming around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're just in a level, listening to some tunes, and just fucking
Free
about.
forming
whatever.
it up, man. What
Right.
do you want to do?
And
Do
that's
an
what
ollie,
Skate
do a
was.
noise
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah, that's
No,
and that's what
nose
Skate
grind,
was.
nose
It was like a open world version of that, right?
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
Have
It had
at
the
it.
best video intros.
Oh, they were so good, weren't
Right,
they?
yeah,
They were
yeah.
brilliant.
All the skaters getting you get hurt. You put in the ambulance. It's all
Yeah.
They put like stupid amount
Everybody's
of work
just
into it.
waiting for Bam because they all knew Bam.
That's great.
7 years ago, on July 21st, 2010, Limbo came out. On Xbox
7 years
360.
ago?
Wow.
7 years ago.
Upsetting.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, God, Limbo.
Jesus.
What a damn good game.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at GDC at the little indie area, like before it had anything going on. Like everyone's like, "You gotta see this game." We all walked over there and watched it for a while.
I think that Limbo is going to go down in history as one of the most influential games just based on its art style. Like,
Yeah.
how many times have we now seen that silhouette look, right?
Not
Like,
just
it's
even
crazy.
monochromatic. Like
Yeah.
That,
It
even
was
after
so
that,
unique
like-
for its time.
Yeah, and it's weird because you go back and play it and it's like, huh. Like if it came out today,
It'd be
It would be-
fine.
be fine,
fine
yeah.
indie. Yeah,
but like it was just so unique at the time or something about
caught
it. 'Cause,
everybody
like,
off guard. Yeah.
all of the like retro stuff was very like especially 2D retro stuff was very throwbacky and like fast paced.
It was all 8-bit
in your
looking.
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like this super
Artsy.
reserved down. Yeah.
Here's
yeah.
an artsy indie game. It was one
Yeah.
of the first ones that
Right.
really came along, and it had like this weird undercurrent message to it of like, who are we saving? Are we dead? Is she dead? Is
Right.
this heaven? Is it purgatory?
And it defined indie game, I
Yeah.
think. I think it really gave a definition to this thing that's like, well, it's DLC, but it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Like what? How do we kind of like handle
Yeah.
that? So
it was in that like second wave, like
Yeah.
after Castle Crashers and
Braid.
yeah,
Yeah,
Meat
yeah,
Boy and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, God, 7 years.
7 years.
They've released 2 games in like that whole time.
Hey, when
I
they're
guess,
that good.
Dude, they're great games though.
Yeah.
10 years ago, on July 17th, 2003, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic came
Jesus.
out on Xbox.
KOTOR is 10 years old.
God, that's hard to believe.
I knew
It
some.
makes
That's not
sense.
right.
Yeah,
That's not right at all. That
Yeah,
can't be right.
I was gonna say I played it in
yeah,
college.
longer. Yeah,
Hold on, yeah. I must have
Xbox
wrote that off
360.
wrong. 2003 is when it came out.
All right, 14 years.
14 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, it must have been a copy and paste problem. But yeah, I don't know, because 2003. 14 years.
Yeah,
What a damn game.
Yeah. Did you play it?
Oh, yeah.
That seems
Different
like a game
Bioware.
when you wouldn't play.
Oh, no, back on Xbox, there wasn't anything.
Sure,
You
I
kidding
know
me?
that.
I had
Right.
Splinter Cell, I had Halo, and it's Star Wars.
I know it's Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
I just know
Yeah,
like how you feel about giant games and RPGs.
No, that's true, but I had more time back then.
Sure.
Like that was a different era, and like Star Wars was on something that was getting great reviews.
Yeah.
That's an example to me of even though it's not my type of game, because it was reviewed so well, then I was like, I gotta
Give it a go.
This, give this a go. But yeah, man, it was one of my favorite Star Wars things.
it's
ever.
probably
I love Star Wars.
arguably that and the sequel are the best Star Wars games
That and
ever
which one?
made. The KOTOR 2.
Oh, and a sequel.
You don't have to put KOTOR 2 in that. You don't have to mention KOTOR 2 in that.
What other
There's a-
good Star Wars games stand out to you guys? Because I'm like a big like Jedi Outcast, like
Yeah, well, there's the PC
Jedi Knight
old
games,
school
yeah.
ones.
even Jedi Academy, that third person one where you could do all the multiplayer.
third one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm blanking right now on
Jedi
what my
Power Battles,
favorite-
man. Come
I
on.
mean, I
Oh, yeah.
love Jedi Power Battles, but it is a trash game. I'll have to
Those old NES
get back to
games,
you on that.
SNES games.
I don't like those.
You don't like
Super
those?
Star Wars and
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back and all that
Too
shit.
floaty to me.
Right.
There's so many classic Super Nintendo platformer games
Right.
that people remember way more fondly than I do. The Star Wars games and the Disney games.
Lion King, I was about to
Lion
say,
King,
yeah.
Aladdin, which I should love.
Hard
And
as fuck. Those games were so
I
hard.
appreciate those games, but they're just so, they don't feel tight. They don't
Yeah.
feel like Mario. They don't even feel like Sonic.
Right.
It's like, ugh, I don't know. 15 years ago, on July 20th, 2002, NCAA Football 2003 came out on PS2. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw that in there for Greg Miller.
That's the other EA one. Come on, EA. Come off the
Right.
fucking bench and apologize to everyone and bring it back.
Okay, so wait, you do like that one.
I love NCAA.
Gotcha, because I've been looking, there's a whole bunch of sports games. I don't know the difference between any of these.
Oh, sure.
Because it was the 2K games as well at that point.
Yeah.
Was there 2K college?
Were they doing a
Did they
2K
do a
college?
college
I don't think
game?
so.
No,
I don't think
no.
they did.
Was NCAA Football 2003 like an important one for you?
Goody.
I'm sure I was playing it for sure.
But like, which one of them stands out to you? Like, which is the
That
one you
doesn't
have memories
exist. That
of?
doesn't
Oh, really?
exist. No, people do that all the time. We're like, oh, well, this one. I'm like, really? They all run. I mean, I loved them and played hundreds of hours of each one of them while in high school and then into college. But like, I don't sit here and be like, man, 2002 was the one. You know what I mean? It's just now it's one of those things I'm starving for them. I drink sand, you know what I mean? Like, it's so far away from when we had our last one, and like to think of a next gen awesome one. To think if they deal with all the NCAA rules now and things that are changing, if they could have real players' names in there, and they could fucking make it awesome.
So what? It's like a contract problem or rights issue?
I'm
isn't
not
it?
up to date on it anymore, but yeah, the problem was
It was
at
like the
time,
colleges thought that they had the rights and the players thought they had
that's
the
100% it, and
Okay.
lawsuits started to pop up because
Right.
you are like, okay, you're not using our name, but you're making like quarterback with my number and my stats and this, that, and like
Yeah.
you're very much playing to what's happening here. And there was a whole bunch of contract disputes and that, and that's
Right.
led to, and I'm again not up to speed on this part anymore. I believe it's now changed the NCAA rulings where players can. I'm looking to you, like you'd help me. I think there's something changed now. I think there's wiggle room where I
'Cause
don't
they
think
weren't allowed to
can't
make
pay
money,
players,
right?
but they can
Right.
or something
Yeah.
to that effect. Now I forget what it is because yeah, the whole thing, you know, college sports are awesome and amazing, and they totally just. It depends on what side of the argument. I think they should get some money, of course.
Yeah.
They're bringing millions of dollars in. Now, the argument is they pay for their tuition, their board, their school.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a good counter argument, I guess. But it is also.
It's a
It's their
convenient
name.
argument.
I mean, it is this thing of like, I own a Brad Smith jersey, Mizzou jersey. He didn't get a cut of that.
You're right.
Granted, he had a free education and all this different stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
a
you,
weird-
You didn't get a cut from IGN stuff like if you sold Beyond shirts, you know. And I know that's a little bit different. But if you sold a Greg Miller quote shirt at IGN, you wouldn't get money from it.
It's a weird thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like I'm not against them getting something. It may be not a full on salary, but more than it may. And I don't know if I want to then put it on their performance and stuff. I haven't thought this through
Yeah.
at all. You believe it or not,
Do
the
they have a
administra-
union? Are they allowed to unionize? Probably if they're
No,
not.
the players?
Yeah.
No. I mean, they're covered by the NCAA, but I don't
Right.
think they don't have like an NFL Players Association
Yeah.
like the NFL players do.
Or,
Yeah.
NHLPA or something.
No. But yeah, those fucking games, dude. Like, and it's like it's not heartbreaking, but it's really sad of like the Madden, like the whole like story mode they're adding this year and seeing like the Longhorns out there. You're like, oh, you have the assets still. It could be so good. It could be so good.
And then finally, 16 years ago, on July 21st, 2001, Mario Kart Super Circuit came out on the GBA. Do you guys play that at all?
No.
Oh, this one
Of all
was
the
so,
Mario Karts.
so big for me.
Oh, really?
It was huge because obviously first handheld Mario Kart game.
Right.
But it was also
Was there not a Game Boy Mario Kart?
no.
Wow.
No, and it was the third Mario Kart game ever.
Right.
So it's like at that point the franchise was still so new,
Wow.
and this was one of those games that I looked forward to. Like I got my GBA and I was like, I cannot wait to have Mario Kart. Obviously, loved the Super Nintendo version when Mario Kart 64 came out. That changed the game. But the idea of having a portable Mario Kart, that was back when the GBA felt next gen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's when it felt like those graphics are possible. Like I remember looking at Nintendo Power and seeing screenshots of Yoshi's story on GBA. It never happened. Ever. But just knowing that could be possible, I was like, what the fuck?
What was the battery life like on the GBA? Because there were like portable stuff in the 90s, but most of the battery life on it was just hilariously bad.
GBA still had
GBA was double A
batteries.
batteries.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Garbage.
I mean, I don't remember.
Like so the
that's-
Game Gear
that's
had like
hard to-
6
Oh,
like
yeah,
fat
yeah.
ones, right? It was like
Yeah.
absurd.
I mean, a lot of my GBA playing was there wasn't an AC adapter. That was the GBA SP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clamshell was the one that's the SP, right?
Yeah, SP
Yeah,
was
and that was the
clamshell,
one that had the
which is
first
fucking
batteries
beautiful.
built in.
Kevin,
Hey,
There were
You could
so many
recharge and
different
use
versions
AC.
of the Game Boy getting sold.
Can you
around.
get the
Oh, God,
GBA
yeah,
SP
ridiculous.
that's on Greg's desk? Cool Greg's
The
desk?
Micro.
Yeah.
Micro's too small.
Micro was like a
just like
joke
a goofy
small.
thing, yeah. But I just saw
People swear by it.
We used to
Love
sell
it.
them like
Lauren
hot
Belizinski
cakes.
just put up her photo. I think she's going to Comic-Con of like her with her Micro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This thing, man.
Remember that guy?
This system.
I love that thing.
The GBA SP Cobalt Blue. Are you fucking kidding me? It matches my car now.
I haven't seen one of these.
And I
so long.
love it. This is one of my favorite game consoles of all time.
I agree 100%.
It's
That
just
backlight.
fucking- That
I used to,
backlight,
used to
man.
sell these. These are like hotcakes in GameSpot.
Yeah.
GameStop. Damn it.
But no
the-
headphone jack.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
really?
a big issue for me.
Attachment.
Yeah.
SP.
Yeah, I remember when I bought this guy along with the Ghostbusters Ecto 1.
Oh, yeah?
Extreme Ghostbusters Ecto 1 Rampage or whatever the hell it was called. And then I also got Link to the Past.
Yeah, this came out around Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh yeah.
And good lord, it just made those games so much better.
Yeah. Well, it's just that
It's so
awesome
good.
feeling.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Put it up, put it in your pocket, you're off
yeah.
you go.
I also love that it was backwards compatible, even if it looks stupid as hell.
Yeah, yeah.
With the just coming out, but you can still play it. Oh man, I love this thing. Love this thing.
God,
Now we
I
got the
can't wait.
Switch. What a great time.
Now we got the Switch. We've come full circle.
All right, now it is time for a topic of the show. This is something that we talked about on Games Daily a little
Sure.
bit on Monday this week.
Okay.
This is from user R Lewis 201119. He says, "What will this generation of games be remembered for?" And then we talked about it a little bit, and then we're like, you know what? We got to talk about this on Gamescast. So, Danny, what's your gut answer to that?
Vast open world games. Like we saw, there was a time when like the Grand Theft Auto series was defined by that. It was like the only game where that was happening. We had like role-playing games of, you know, days gone past, like Diablo, which were, you know, open worlds, as it were, you know, like old text adventures and stuff where there was seemingly limitless places to go. And then probably the only console game that sort of brought that into first person was the Elder Scrolls series. But like Arena and Daggerfall and Morrowind were never big games like GTA ended up becoming. And we saw a bunch of that stuff between that area between PS2 and PS3. But I really think that like what's happened now is that every genre has like blended itself into open world, be it like racing games like The Crew, first-person shooters, online first-person shooters like even like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, oddly enough.
Division for third person. Yeah.
Right? Like every like the normal action game that exists now is like Uncharted now is an outlier. It's more stuff like Far Cry.
Sure.
It's more stuff like Assassin's Creed.
I mean, think about it now.
know?
Is what we talk about all the time, right? If you say, "Oh, it's a Ubisoft game,"
Right.
You know what we're saying. If
Yeah.
it's an open world game where there's a million collectibles and things to run through and go do and climb up this. Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, the generations ago with GTA, I think what made that unique was the sandbox element of it, where it's like, it wasn't just an open world game. People call it a sandbox game. You can just do whatever you want. And I think that we saw so many clones with every genre then too, with even racing games. Like The Crew now is mimicking what the open world games are doing. But back then, Need for Speed Underground 2
right.
was mimicking what GTA was doing.
Yeah.
Shout out! I haven't seen this art yet. This one's great.
Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they're all great, but good job.
Yeah. it's
What's the
fun.
guy's name again? Who doesn't? I always forget.
Orioto.
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 Support him on
Go
Patreon.
support him on Patreon or anywhere. DeviantArt.
I mean,
and
we
all
were
that.
just talking about Skate a second ago. Like
Yeah.
Every
And that's the thing is
you
like
know,
so many games. When this question came up, and this is my knee jerk, you know, what I mean, yeah, third person open worlds or open, you know, giant open worlds to go do stuff, open world RPG kind of things. It's not like they didn't exist before. It's
Yeah.
just the fact that they're everywhere now.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you going to the readers or are you going to?
There's a whole bunch of reader answers. I want to kind of just say it.
I jumped to Metacritic, right? Of like, what are the highest rated games, right? Top, of course, number 1 right now is Grand Theft Auto 5, and these are just, you know, passing. Number 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom
Right.
Pain,
Open world.
Yeah, exactly. Jump down. Bloodborne, that doesn't really count though, right? Witcher is at 8 and 9 for
Right.
Wild Hunt, and then Blood and Wine. Like they're all Diablo. That doesn't count either. But like that's the thing is like it gets weird, but you start seeing so many of the same things, right? And there's Final Fantasy, like.
I mean, Bloodborne is a game defined by the fact that you can go anywhere. Well, you can. It's not linear.
I keep doing the thing.
You know what I mean?
Step out. I'm like, well, yeah, it is, but it isn't. Yeah.
Diablo is basically the godfather of open,
Sure. Yeah.
graphical open games, not text adventures.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they are, and it's just I don't know if it's. I want to say it's been perfected this generation, but it's better than it's ever been before, and I think that's why it stands out, right?
Even Rocket League was supposed to be an open world game before. You were going to drive to the stadiums.
Thank God they didn't do that. See, that was my problem with like Need for Speed Underground 2, where I'm like, I don't want this in this type of game. Like, I just want to race.
Burnout Paradise. I guess that was probably last generation.
Yeah. But a Burnout with, I mean, that was another one where, I mean, I don't like racing games. I should say hate them. I don't like them. They don't connect with me. But Burnout Paradise I played.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have to even worry about the race. I can just smash billboards. All right. Yeah, I'll do that for a while.
I mean, even Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, even back in the day, they did this. Like with Tony Hawk 4, that was them trying to do the GTA thing. And then once it got to Thug and Thug 2 and American Wasteland, those were just open world games. And then what was it, Project 8? Yeah, Project 8, which was the first true next gen.
They literally had quest givers in Tony Hawk 4.
Yeah.
Like you would go up to people and ask for stuff and they go, hey, do a kickflip.
Yeah.
Do an ollie.
See a cool kickflip.
Yeah.
It's like Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that an interesting way to think about this question is to go back and try to decide what defined last gen.
100%.
You know,
Right,
I was just thinking too.
What are the answers there?
I would say last gen, and this is off, you know, we're just jumping. We're just jumping. I haven't thought it through. Would be defined by third-person narrative. Your Uncharted, your Last of Us. I'm putting Gears of War in there. It's a shooter, but it is that action-adventure game, I guess. You know what I mean? And the fact of the Halo, to an extent.
Well, see, for me, I jump to online multiplayer shooter games.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. You're right.
Console,
That is very much
Counter-Strike.
because that's what Xbox 360 did, right? That's what it hung its hat on. I'm coming out from a very PlayStation center.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And Xbox One last gen, right? So I think that when it comes to the definition of what defined it or whatever, that you go from there.
That's
and when you go back, it's like, okay, well, they didn't invent those things. Obviously, PC's done it forever. Halo 1 and 2 were on Xbox, not 360, but it was 360 that really nailed it.
You're online all the time. You don't think about this. It's easy. It's out of the box. You're doing it.
All your friends are already doing it, so jump in.
And Call of Duty, obviously. I mean, I feel like if one game were to define last gen, it would be Modern Warfare.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think if Halo was probably a good shout as well. Halo 3. And even Gears of War from the Xbox. When I think about Xbox 360, I think about Gears of War.
Yeah, me too.
Gears of War 2, like what that was like. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 were like the biggest. That was like the ship that launched like every other game that has come since.
It opened
all those
the door,
first-person games.
for sure.
So then I think by going by that logic, then it is the open worlds this gen, because although we had them last gen and the gen before, it's like this is when they're finally.
What defines the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation?
PS2 and Xbox.
Is it action games?
No,
like Devil May Cry.
God of War, Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's a great game.
No,
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. What are you trying to say? You just you're in a.
I mean, I think
character
it might be
platforms.
There was a shit ton of them. But I think that'd be the gen before.
Yeah, probably.
If anything, I was going to just say GTA 3. Like, sounds like it's a cop-out answer, but what we were talking about is the more sandbox idea of it, of just the introduction of it, because it did permeate every
that trilogy.
Single type. Yeah, exactly.
That trilogy,
the GTA trilogy,
right?
I think defined that generation because it seeped into every other style of game.
And
from Tony Hawk to Need for Speed.
Everyone tried to emulate it. It feels like it took 10 years for people to do it or something. Because like now it feels like we're experiencing the best of those. Like the growing pains are kind of over. But yeah, you're totally right. Like from GTA 3 coming out, that's what I bought a PlayStation because of that. And then like the last great PlayStation 2 game that came out was probably San Andreas, which was like quite close to the end around 2004.
God of War 2.
Was that out after San Andreas?
Yeah. God of War 2. God of War 2 came out at PS3. Yeah, after PS3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's 2007, March 2007.
But I'm trying to think of something that defines it more than that, and I don't know that there is.
PS2 was such a messy era. There was so many games.
Yeah.
Like there was an absurd
and there were so
amount
many
of
games with so many people trying different things.
Yeah.
Nobody knew exactly what it was going to be defined by and what was going to hit with the audience.
The genres were less defined than they are now, I feel.
And then the generation before that, so the PS1,
3D.
N64,
N64 is for sure 3D, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Like Wipeout and
Mario.
Mario, yeah. Zelda, all that.
All right, what do the listeners think about this?
I'm going to go through, I got a lot of people responding on Twitter to this for what will define this gen. Now, I want to read a couple of these and then there's some discussions to be had.
Easy platinum trophies.
Rich Miggle said unfinished games being released and then fixed through paid DLC. Furious Fight Pick says broken, glitchy games at release, and then lots of patches. Preach NBC says delays. This generation is plagued
All
with
the
initial release
negative
dates
things is
not
what
being
will
met.
define this.
And Cook 515 says recycled content, way too many remastered games. Those are the negative
We
answers.
got
Some of the negative answers.
angry Andy's in the chat here.
I feel like it's easy in the moment to think and actually believe that it's the negatives that are going to define it, but you don't think back to the negatives when you're reminiscing.
This
on
would be
what
like
defined.
last generation asking this question is be like season passes, online passes.
Yeah.
That's what's going to define. Nobody thinks about that shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So getting that out of the way.
Games
Moving
were
forward.
like never not buggy. Like, and there were times where games were buggy and they couldn't get fixed. Like there was it Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness was the game on PC. They forgot to put the shotgun in, so they had to like patch it to put. There was shotgun ammo everywhere, but there's no shotgun.
Really?
Yeah. And that was just by when patches were becoming an acceptable thing.
What was the Metroid that there was something that you sent in the cartridge to Nintendo
no,
and they
really?
fix it? I thought, or your save file.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right.
There were games that were just buggy and
Oh,
glitchy.
yeah.
And that was it. And
You accept it. And you're like,
Yes.
this is a bad game.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it is the fact that games come out and are buggy or glitchy, and somebody has the ability to patch them, and it's
Right.
like, well, this game clearly wasn't finished. Why'd you put it on? It's like, well, financials, this, that, and then also look at Final Fantasy. Like, it'll just never come out if we wait. You
Yeah.
got to pull the trigger at some point. No game's ever finished.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that agree with kind of what we're saying here. So Neo JD says open world games, online service games, loot boxes, remasters, and day one patches. He puts a lot there. But yeah, the loot boxes is another thing. I mean, that's just kind of more a feature, but
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
It's the latest version of like the Skinner box for people. Whereas before it was last generation, that was achievements, right? Or for certain people, this generation too. That was what like the
called trophies.
thing that kept you coming. Sorry, blasphemous. That was the thing that kept you coming back, right? That was
Yeah.
like that was the stick or the carrot, depending on how you look at it. Whereas now we're just a bit more upfront, probably with some of that stuff, where it's like people are okay with DLC in a way that they weren't last gen, so
Yeah.
they're just presenting it like buy some if you want.
Yeah, if you want, that's always the key.
The game I was talking about was Metroid Other M.
Oh yeah.
There was a bug in there that you had to send your SD card in to Nintendo, and they would fix the save for you.
SD card.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, so your save file would be corrupted.
Right. The save file.
So you have
had
to
a
copy it onto SD. Oh Lord, one of Other M's many issues.
Problem, there is a door in Sector 3 that cannot be unlocked and opened. It remains red and locked, making it impossible to advance through the
That's
game.
so bad. That's so annoying.
Fucking Other
I
M.
mean, you know what? Like the last generation, fucking consoles breaking every goddamn year.
Red
Like,
Ring of Death, yeah.
like, that's one thing we've basically forgotten about this time around.
Yeah.
Like everything's been cool.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yeah, your PlayStation 4 or all your consoles will just sound like a jet engine sometimes for no reason. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I guess I was about to say that never happened to me, but it did. My PS3 broke. And I
Right.
remember you sent it in for me.
Right.
I had both break.
What a disaster. Drummer Duck 09 says massive multiplayer experiences having mass appeal and player bases.
That's a good
Destiny, Overwatch, Rainbow Six,
Division.
PUBG, Wildlands, For Honor, Division. It's like, yeah.
Maybe
good
for
point.
consoles. Because like PC, I'm like World of Warcraft, man.
Yeah.
Like we had 12 million people playing that back in 2006.
Yeah, you were beta testing this whole system.
But I mean,
Though,
that's the thing. Like, jokes aside, it's like, this is a long list of games.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that.
and it makes
That
a good
type
point of
of
like,
thing.
I know what you're talking about for audiences, but yeah, at least being accepted by PC by console players, right? Because it's the same thing of like people try bringing free to play over here, and it didn't go the right way.
Maybe it's
It
free to
didn't.
play as well, actually, because that seems to be real popular right now.
Sam Hinton brings up something interesting.
Or not.
Being homogenous. All games, no matter the type, have adopted similar traits with loot boxes, open worlds. They're all structurally too similar.
I remember when RPG elements was a big thing we would talk about in IGN
yeah.
previews, and then you just stop because every game now
Every
has
game
RPG
has
elements.
RPG
Yeah, yeah.
elements. Like, but no, I mean it's a good point though. Like when you start playing games now, so many of them are so similar.
Yeah.
Designers know what works and what doesn't. So yeah, when you refine, you eventually it tapers down, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. I wonder where the variety comes from. Then is it setting or
I guess it is.
graphics?
Yeah.
Or,
Kyle DeZange says games as service, being in a game for long periods of time because of constant updates and changes to
Yeah.
keep you in it.
that's a really good shout.
Josh Squire says esports and other streaming/community based games, e.g. League, Minecraft, Overwatch, Dota, Rocket League, PUBG, H1Z1. I think that's like a different perspective
right.
on it.
That's grown in its own little area. It seems a bit more pinned up now. I feel like it's it's better. Like the Evo stuff last week.
Sure.
Like compare that to like an esport broadcast you would have watched 5 years ago. Like they kind of figured out their shtick. It's pretty good now, I feel. It's not like that hokey video game TV show that you would have seen in 2003. You know,
it would have came on a OXM magazine, like you get to like watch the Halo Championships.
Yeah. It's like not that cringy sort of. It feels like a bit more professional and presentable.
I've done no research on this other than what I was shown today from a tweet. But Jen's like, do you know what the #1 esport on TV is right now?
On TV?
Yeah.
In America?
She means recently based on ratings, including Evo, including something else, and whatever ESPN was running. Oh, I guess they run Evo, right? I don't know. She showed it to me, and it's Candy Crush. Because there's that Mario Lopez show that he does on CBS, and like that's like #1 and 2 based. And again, I don't even know where this came from, who did it or whatever.
Yeah,
but it seemed legit.
It's a CBS show, I think.
Yeah.
They showed the Smash Bros. Finals on Disney XD.
Oh, they did. Yeah, I saw that.
For Evo. That's crazy.
It's fucking IGN has a TV show on
it's
XD as well. Yeah.
Bayonetta won though, and everyone's making a big deal. Bayonetta, new Disney princess. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah?
I'm into it. Totally fucking into it.
What was the other one? They had one of the players at Evo had to change his Cammy costume because ESPN requested it. Yeah. They're like too revealing. It's like
that's hilarious.
Here we go. This is what happens.
And then the last one, Rock Blackstone says it'll be remembered as the golden age of gaming. So many great games, so little time, amazing variety from 3-hour cinematic experiences to 100-hour open worlds.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Like it has. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, it's always someone's golden age.
Exactly.
Right?
But that's a big title. But man, no, I do think people are gonna think back on this generation very, very, very fondly, and it's gonna be up there.
In like 5 years time, in like whatever, like now maybe there's this whole wave of people who grew up playing Minecraft, which is like when they write books about the top 100 most influential games of all time, like it's going to be in the top 5 easily, right? Like, so there are people who have had a totally different perspective on all this, and you know, I feel like there are as many good games coming out now as there were. There's probably more. There are more games coming out now. If you go look at like Moby Games database or whatever, and like scan their weird graphs about like all the games that are coming out in console, like there's so many more games coming out now, and longer games than ever before as well. So it doesn't feel like the golden age. The golden age for me was the Commodore Amiga 600.
Hell yeah.
But it, you know, there might be something to that.
There's the ratings. So that is a real infographic from TNL.media. They do all these different, and the next level, you can just pull.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring up an interesting point, though, about Minecraft being one of the most influential games. I think that's another way we could look at this and just think of, like, what are the most influential games of all time? And I know that's a big conversation. We should probably say that for another topic.
A bigger topic of the show, yeah.
Yeah, but just quickly for the sake of this conversation, like, what are the games that come to mind that like, you need to put in there? Super Mario Brothers,
Pong,
Mario 64,
World of Warcraft,
Pong, World of Warcraft, Grand Theft Auto 3, Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like, all those games fit into what we were talking about earlier about
League of Legends.
What defines that generation.
Dota 1. Yeah.
I mean, I guess Minecraft's last gen.
I guess so, yeah.
Right.
The PC, there's only been one gen of PC. That's the hard part. You know what
PC's
I mean?
killing it.
One generation.
I'm using that same 266 I had back in 1995.
My knockoff Windows
350
computer
megahertz.
my mom finally got.
Right.
All right, now, final segment of the show, audience questions. You can go to kindoffunny.com/gamescast to leave your questions, just like all these beautiful people did. Seb Noren says, do you think the PS Vita would still be supported if it had a second set of shoulder buttons instead of the touchpad on the back?
I've argued about this long and for many times. Vita's trapped between PS3 and PS4. The hubris of PS3 and the hey, we're gonna fucking nail it with PS4. Yeah. I think if you would have seen them launch it all the way in the PS3 generation, it would have been more like what we have now. Would have continued. It would have been more of a failure if they would have launched it in PlayStation 4 after launching the PlayStation 4. I think they would have. Holy shit, gamers love games. We don't need to put any of these fucking goddamn quirks in here to try to make it matter to mobile people or whatever. And I think it would have been more successful. Yeah, I think it would have been an easier thing to wrap your head around. I think it would have been an easier sell of, hey, at the very least, you can play all of your PlayStation 4 games on this via remote play while your significant other or your kids or whoever uses the TV. And it would have been like, oh, great, instead of how it is now where it's like, are the controls designed for remote play or do I have to fucking sit here and claw at the back screen hoping I get what I need from it. You know what I mean? Because like Persona 5 is great on it. That's how a turn-based strategy game works for it. And there'd be
like a shooter.
Exactly. There would be more there, and I think that I would have ripped off the touchscreen on both sides, touchscreen and touchpad. I would have made. I would have just completely aped the PlayStation 4's UI. I would not have used bubbles. I would not have made this thing in this weird. I don't know why they've never changed that.
I know,
have no
right?
idea that they've never been like, you know what? Fuck it. Put the XMB back in there.
Put the PSP's one, exactly.
Exactly.
Like,
and if you would have had the shoulder buttons there, yeah, it would have been a completely different thing.
Do you know what I saw a lot of people playing those?
What?
Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vita's still popular.
All over the place,
Yeah, that's why Vita is still. That's why you still have Vita games.
Right.
That's why Sony publicly is like, we're done.
Yeah.
Freedom Wars, that's it. No more AAA games for it. And everybody's like, I don't care. I'll keep buying it.
Monster.
What do you got for me?
Keep making Monster Hunter games.
Exceed. Give me another creepy game. I want to see some girls in their underwear.
Danny, we got a couple questions for you.
Oh my God.
This one comes from KIWIJ1M.
Jesus.
I looked at that. I'm like, is that something I can say? No.
No, it is not.
Kiwi Jim?
Kijow.
Maybe? I don't know. What is Danny's most anticipated racing game this year?
Ooh.
GT Sport, Forza, Project Cars 2,
Ding ding.
F1, and Dirt 4.
Dirt 4 I'm interested in. The F1 games every year. I'm a big F1 fan. I do an F1 podcast. It's my favorite racing discipline, but it's such an incremental. It's like Madden. I don't get excited about the new whatever. But Project Cars 2 for sure. Project Cars is the best racing game I've played maybe ever probably. And I put in hundreds of hours into the last game. I got the wheel set up at home and my pedals and everything, and I adore it. It's great in VR as well. Super good. The story of that game, how that got made, do you know anything about those guys?
No.
So that game got made by basically, it was a crowd coded game. They're based now, they have a studio, Slightly Mad Studio in London, but it was basically a bunch of people that were like, nobody's making the racing game we want to make. We don't all want to play R-Factor, but we also don't want to all play like Colin McRae. Like, we can have a game that's like realistic but looks good. Let's try and make it ourselves. And they did, and that's what Project Cars is.
So where does Gran Turismo fall into this?
I'm not a big GT fan. I've never been.
Why?
I guess like I liked the old PlayStation games. I used to play a bunch of those, but I don't know. I just, maybe it's
Too
something
simmy?
to do with it. But it's like Project Cars is like simmy. Like, so I don't know.
But there's something about Project Cars where at Judges Week, now granted, at Judges Week I played it with a controller and I was terrible at it and I was off in the gravel. I'm like, whatever. But then they had the VR car, buckle yourself in, and then on hydraulics.
Oh, God.
And we were going, and he'd be like, ease on the brake, and because when you did it, the thing would shift you forward, and so you felt it all there.
need to
And
get one of those.
when it was done, like, and there was a guy next, like, it was one headphone on because they just did not want you to kill yourself. Of like, all right, as you're coming up, he's like, all right, there's a turn on the right, so you start braking now, and like on the third one, finally you had a little bit of, you knew the track, and it was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, again, it was in automatic, so there's no manual. I can't, you know what I mean? But it was like, holy fuck. Like, you guys have put a lot of love and care into this. Because, like, Drive Club, we did a VR Let's Play that'll eventually be a party mode or whatever.
Right.
And it was like, this is cool, this is fun. But, like, this was like, I'm on the track. This is real. Everything's fucking happening right around me.
It's my favorite thing to do is to drive the F1 cars, but when I do, so I drive them, sometimes I drive them with, like, basically all of the, like, things turned off. All of the assists, if I go, it'll just spin. Like, F1 cars are insane. The torque that they have is unbelievable. So, like, it's like you're like concentrating and you're listening to the bite points because the gears on F1 cars are paddle shifters, and it's like the most intense experience ever. But you can also dial that all the way back and make it just be like, woo, I'm driving it like the F1 game. So it's super scalable. I don't know what it is about. It's probably the fucking menus. Gran Turismo has the worst menus in video game history. So it might be something to do with that, but I don't know. It's I love playing those old games. Third person Dodge Viper, like, super good. Gran Turismo 1 and 2, but I don't know. I'm not into
When it comes to racing games, I love Ridge Racer. I love Need for Speed.
Racer.
You know, just like the fun, just more arcadey ones.
yeah.
With like drifting galore. And it's just like super easy and
Burnout
fun.
Paradise, one of the best racing games ever.
Yeah, exactly. But my question for you, like, what is the difference between these games? I look at them all and I'm so outside of it that I'm just like, whatever, it's foreign. But like Forza and GT,
Right?
like, what makes one different than the other?
It's like, it's like we were talking about football games, right? And NCAA and Madden, and then you had the Blitz stuff, right? Like, it's all just particulars. Like, Gran Turismo, I guess, is more a game about getting your licenses and like unlocking cars and sort of the, getting all of the trophies. I feel like that's when I think about that game. That's what I think about. Forza is more of like, has always, you know, even you think about the Horizon stuff, but it's always been like, I don't know, like more about different disciplines of racing in a way that GT kind of doesn't really do as much. Project Cars is that like sort of stretched out, because in Project Cars you can do go-karts, F1 cars, cop cars, not yet. Like all these other different types of disciplines, and also like you can customize the shit out of it. Like you can do, you know, you can drive go-karts on Silverstone if you want, which is stupid because it'll take you like forever to do a lap. Or you can do like night races or daytime races or 24-hour races. You can like customize the hell out of it. And then like F1 would be like, that'd be someone who's an F1 fan who wants to have the real drivers in the game. They want to see Lewis Hamilton. They want to have the real commentators. You know, they want to do practice and qualifying and a race in their favorite circuits. But that's all they care about. They don't care about anything else. So it's, I guess it shows you how much love for motorsport there is. We haven't even talked about like Indy and NASCAR and all those like franchises that ran on forever as well. You know, Camping World Truck.
Well, so there's Forza and then there's Forza Horizon. What's the difference there?
Horizon is the open world, like a bit more jovial, unlocking things, the Burnout Paradise version. And, you know, Forza, then regular Forza is more like GT, where it's like, here are races. You know, you are on a circuit, race there. Whereas Horizon is like, hey man, it's fucking Horizon Festival. It's in Tuscany. Drive wherever you want. There's no queue. Yes, basically.
Was in it, the DLC.
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
God, I loved that.
And then there's Trackmania, but we don't talk about that.
Venom says, I watched your Final Fantasy 14 documentary and fell madly in love with it. How do you get permission to interview workers in a company like Square?
Ooh, boy howdy. Lots of emails. I don't know, like I feel like people are, you probably experience this a lot. People are open to talking to you when they know you're not, when they know like you respect them.
Hey, you don't have an agenda.
Yes.
You're not coming in here to sideswipe or do something or get us on here just to have it be a hit piece or something.
Get a headline out of it or
exactly.
Like it doesn't benefit. Like one of the things I keep harping onto people is like the amount of views we get is kind of agnostic a bit to like what we really want to make is something that like fans like and last the test of time. Like that's the metric for making these videos, because you're only making one video for like every 2 months, right? So you got to make sure it's like it ticks those boxes, and then everything else is kind of a little bit secondary. So we're not like sexying it up in any way, you know. We're not taking things out of context, that sort of shit. Yeah. So I think
you're not doing breakout videos about like, you won't believe what Square almost had this happen.
Right. And you could like, you can edit things to say whatever, right? Like I would love to give the rushes to someone else and be like, now you make one, and then put the two of them together, because you can tell totally different types of stories and make people more or less empathetic or whatever. So I think, you know, the thing of Final Fantasy is that series was one that I wanted to do one on a series that I knew nothing about, and I also wanted to do one in Japan because I'd never been to Japan and I don't have a foot in the door in Japan.
Gotcha.
Now we have a foot in the door in Japan. So it was easier to pitch Final Fantasy because we went to id and they showed us Doom 4 for the first time, and you know it worked out well for them. You know, everyone likes that thing and nothing bad came from it and all that. So the more of these we have, I feel like the easier it is to get in and ask people those questions. But that was crazy. Like at one stage I was interviewing the CEO of the company, who came downstairs with like all of the legal people and everyone, and I'm used to interviewing people like at their desk where they like program all day. And I was sitting in this room with this gentleman, and there were like maybe 16 people to the side while I talked, and I was doing this, and afterwards everyone left the room, and I went to Jeremy and I was like, that was like the fucking craziest thing I've ever seen. But they didn't get in the way. They were like, they were just making sure I wasn't there to say, yo,
how much do you hate Konami?
Right, or so, something. So I don't know. Yeah, I kind of think it's crazy too that people want to do these, because like, why not? But I think the only reason they do them is because the reason why Yoshida-san wanted to do this, and I talked to him before we did it, I've talked to him after, was that like lots of this information is out there, but people really want to have their story told. And like, you know this about developers, right? You said this when you went on stage and you won the Game Awards. I remember watching that and like punching the sky in the GameSpot office. Like, these people toil away for years, and then the game's out and then that's it, right?
Yep.
So if you give them the opportunity to like talk about shit, especially if you're asking them like kind of like really particular stuff about their weird job, their weird part of it, like they're more than happy to tell you. So I kind of feel like, yeah, like that's probably why. Like people just want to tell stories.
Once you established what noclip was, I have to imagine it was easier.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, okay, this is what it looks like, and this is what it is, and it is long, lengthy, in depth. Yeah, let's get beyond the surface level of like, what did you add this year? What are the features here? Like,
because people have gotten really good at that.
Yeah.
And lots of people are doing it, right? And we're all trying to find our own way of doing it, right? Like, Kind of Funny was your own way. Like, when you guys did this, people were like, we're all back at the mainstream press, right? Thinking like, what? Like, you can do it that way? Like, I guess, yeah. And then I said my watershed moment was going to Kind of Funny Life too, and being like, oh, fuck, all right, the penny dropped. I get what this is. Like, it's, yeah, to do it in a different way. Like, the worst thing I could have done is left and just done what I was doing in exactly against Sure. It wouldn't have made any sense. So,
welcome to the rec room.
Right, yeah exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully we'll keep having people just respecting people and being cool, not like fucking with them and making something that they're proud of, right?
Sure.
And hopefully then that's what happened, is the people who reached out to us had seen what I did to other places and went, hey, we've got this story. What do you think? Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
How often do you get
all
pitched?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's mostly now. At the start, I pitched Rocket League because I wanted to do it first. I pitched Bethesda Doom because I want to do that second.
Yeah.
And then everything. Actually, no, I'll take it back. The indie stuff we do, I have to pitch. So I had to ask Derek Yu for Spelunky, John Blow for The Witness, and Jim Crawford for Frog Factions. Like, you know how bad indie people are at PR.
Yeah.
So the last thing they're doing is pitching while they're in between games. Yeah. So I was like, can we please do this? And they were all super nice. We interviewed Jonathan Blow for like 4 hours, and his throat was like gone by the end. But everyone else has been them pitching to us. In fact, I'm trying to think, The Witcher, this might have been mutual. I think we kind of both knew we wanted to do this one. So, yeah.
If anyone out there hasn't seen any noclip documentaries yet, what should they start with?
The trailers. We have I do a trailer for everything, and we have a playlist of trailers. So if you go to noclip video on YouTube, there's basically a playlist of all the trailers. So you can just like, it's like a, a la carte. You could
little menu.
Yeah. I think our most popular one is the first part of the Doom series. It's got like 800,000 views or something.
On the way to a mill.
It's fucking nuts, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
It's like a quarter of all our views, probably, right?
Yeah.
And the Final Fantasy stuff is probably not the one to start with because they're long and in Japanese. So it's quite a tough watch. But Rocket League and Doom are pretty snackable. And then some of the other ones are quite small. Like the Witness one is cool. I feel like the Witness and stuff like that. But yeah, probably the trailers because it's like you get a sense of it. Each one is,
Definitely check them out. Danny, thank you for being on the show.
Pleasure as ever.
Greg, thank you for being on the show.
No problem. It's always a pleasure, Tim.
I mean, for everyone back at home, this Sunday, we're premiering Kind of Funny Live 3.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the live stream all day from 11 to 5 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We'll be doing a giveaway stream. We're giving away a whole bunch of video games. And then for Patreon supporters at the $10 or above level, we will do a world premiere live stream of Kind of Funny Live 3.
Sweet.
So until then, stay beautiful. I love you. What's up, guys? I'm Tim Gettys. You might know me as the guy that plays Tim Gettys in popular web series Kind of Funny Gamescast. If you enjoyed the show, you should probably click here to subscribe to youtube.com/kindoffunny. If you want to see us on other internet shows, boom, subscribe right here to Kind of Funny. And if you want to support us financially, that'd be pretty cool. Hit this guy right there.